How do we add massive value to an offer where the offer is so irresistible, it's so valuable that people are willing to pay top dollar for it? They're looking for their credit card. They don't care how much it is. They want it. Doesn't matter how expensive it is. It's so damn valuable that they can't live without it. If you're looking to make your offers that good, watch this video all the way to the end. You're in the right place. By the way, my name is Matt Brockman. I made over $3 million selling an online trumpet coaching program, and now I help other people build businesses with what they're creatively passionate about. So how do we add value to an offer? So first thing we need to do is define what value is, because we see this term thrown around all the time. Like, that's so valuable, I got so much value out of this, I want to add more value to what I have to offer. But if we don't understand what value actually is, there's no way we can increase the value and make your offer even better. I first want to talk about what value is not. So value is not, let's say you're selling like an online course or a training program or something like that. Value is not number of video lessons. So value is not created by number of video lessons. Like, this is a huge misconception. There was like, if I'm selling a course for thousands of dollars, it better have so much content, it better have so much video lessons, they better be getting so much deliverables. It's actually not the case at all. Like, value is more tied to the result. And we're gonna get into what value is in more detail in a second, but just to give you a sneak peek, value is more tied to the result that someone is gonna get. So number of video lessons has nothing to do with value. I've bought $20,000 programs that have had like 5 video trainings in them. But I got massive value out of those. Those 5 video trainings got me massive results and propelled me to where I am today. So even though it was $20,000 for 5 videos, it gave me extreme value. So number of video lessons have nothing to do with value. If anything, it actually devalues your program because it adds more overwhelm and sacrifice, which we're actually going to get into more detail later. So number of videos has nothing to do with value. Like, quality of content. So in terms of like what kind of camera it's recorded with, what kind of microphone you use, has nothing to do with the value. As you can see, just transparency, I'm recording this on an iPhone right now. Just iPhone, wireless mic, that's it. But I'm providing value, and honestly, I don't think if you're watching this at this point, you don't really care that I'm using my phone to record this. So quality of content, I'm gonna say like video, audio, because obviously like the actual content needs to be instructive and good. So number of video lessons, quality of content, nothing to do with value. A good analogy that people use for talking about what value is say you're buying a plane ticket. So when you're making a decision of whether or not to buy a plane ticket, do you consider how many seats the plane has? Do you consider how many refreshments you get when you're on the plane? Do you consider how comfortable the seats are or how good the seatbelts are? You don't care about any of that, because you don't buy a plane ticket to fly in a plane. You buy a plane ticket to get to Hawaii. It's all about the results. Like, no one buys a plane ticket because they want to ride a plane. Like, flying sucks. No one wants to fly. So if you try to sell your program and you're talking about, oh my God, you get so many video lessons, you get so many cheat sheets, like you get so many hours of coaching. So overall, like, deliverables is the more of the story. So like deliverables, how many hours of coaching they get, like what kind of camera the content was recorded on, the number of video lessons they get, the number of downloadable cheat sheets, the number of this and that junk they get. Like, that doesn't create value. Like, if anything, adding all this creates overwhelm, and it's not a selling point that actually convinces someone to buy your program. So you're never going to sell someone into a high-ticket coaching program by talking about how many trainings they get, how many lessons they get, because that's completely irrelevant. You're selling them on the plane ride. What we need to sell them on is Hawaii, the resort, the destination. The end result they're trying to get is what truly creates value. So now that we talked about what value is not, let's talk about what value actually is. So what is value? So to understand what value is, we have what's called the value equation. And by the way, this is not something I discovered myself. This is coming directly from Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers. If you haven't read this book yet, you're doing yourself a massive disservice. Read this book. As you can see, it's not very long, but this is the best book you're going to ever find when it comes to making an irresistible offer. That's where this is coming from, just for context. So the value equation, it goes simply like this. So we have the top of the equation and the bottom of the equation. So the first thing that creates value, like we talked about before, is the result, the dream outcome. Like we don't sell them on the plane ride, we sell them on the result, which is getting to Hawaii. So dream outcome. So that is the first thing that creates value, is a result that is going to make someone's life better. That result is going to bring people closer to heaven, farther away from pain. It's going to solve some sort of pain point they have, some sort of problem, and life is going to be better once that dream outcome is reached. And the better the outcome, the more value. So if the outcome is kind of like surface level, if it's kind of like, oh, I could take it or leave, that kind of outcome, if it's not that great of an outcome, obviously it diminishes value. So we want to make outcome as high as possible. And how can we prove that the dream outcome is really good? Well, obviously case studies, results from previous students. If people see that your previous students are getting massive results and they're getting their massive dream outcomes fulfilled, then it's going to add value to your program if they see those results. It's like, oh my God, this person's clients are like crushing it. They're getting amazing results. Value goes up once that is demonstrated. There's the second part of the top of the value equation. These are things that add value. So it's dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement. So perceived likelihood of achievement boils down to how likely am I actually going to get the result? How certain am I going to get the result? This goes back to what we talk about in our sales framework, where like there's only two objections, trust and certainty, and then legit financial objections. But how likely is it that I'm actually going to get the dream outcome? So there's the dream outcome itself, and the more valuable the outcome, the more value is added to your offer. But what are the chances that I actually get that dream outcome? Like, what's the probability that this dream outcome is actually possible for me and that it actually happens? So obviously, the more social proof you can have, the more testimonials, the more student success stories you have, the increased chances of perceived likelihood of achievement. If people see that like all of these students are getting results, all of these students are successful, or at least like most of them, 90+% are, then perceived likelihood of achievement goes up. For example, let's say like you're doing a college search for like your kid or something, or maybe you're going to college yourself. If you see a school that has a really high graduation rate, like 95+% of their students actually graduate, you build trust. Value goes up because perceived likelihood of achievement is sky high. If 95% of their students they enroll actually make it to the end and graduate and get their degrees. However, if they have a high dropout rate, if they have a low graduation rate, perceived likelihood of achievement goes down, because what you're showing is that, you know, some students are successful, most aren't, and that diminishes value from your offer or service. So you want to really prove to the jury in your sales process that you are extremely likely to get the result. And other things you can include to increase perceived likelihood of achievement is guarantees, like money back guarantees. If you don't get the result, we'll give you your money back. That adds value because that takes away the risk associated with perceived likelihood of achievement. That's the top of the value equation. These are all things that are going to make your offer more valuable the more there is. If the dream outcome is better, and the chances they actually get the result are much higher. So the bottom of the value equation are things that take away value. And obviously these are things we're going to want to minimize and make as small as possible. So the first thing is effort and sacrifice. Effort / sacrifice. So effort and sacrifice is something that diminishes value, and we want to make this as low as possible. Because if something is a lot of effort, if something requires a lot of someone's time or willpower or energy, it kind of diminishes from the value, because people want to get the result, but they want to get the result without working so hard for it. So for example, let's take liposuction. So there's two ways you can lose weight. You can lose weight by giving up all your favorite foods, eating healthy, foods that you might not be passionate about. You have to go to the gym every single day. You have to wake up early to go on a run. You got to invest in a personal trainer, and you got to stay consistent, because if you don't stay consistent, you're not going to lose the weight. And this is something you got to do every single day, and it spends hours and hours, and you got to change your diet. You got to change your lifestyle for you to lose this weight. Well, that's a lot of effort and sacrifice. I mean, that doesn't sound like a good deal to me. I mean, obviously those are all things everyone should be doing, like eating healthy, exercising, of course. I'm not taking away from that. But it's a lot of effort and it's a lot of sacrifice to lose weight that way. Option 2 is just go get liposuction. So there's no effort or sacrifice to get liposuction. You walk into the office, they do the procedure, you lose the weight, you're done. You don't have to go to the gym, you don't have to give up all your healthy foods, you don't have to spend time, you don't have to change your lifestyle. Just go to the doctor, get the liposuction, go home, you've lost a bunch of weight. So that's why people pay top dollar to get liposuction surgery, is because there's so little effort and sacrifice in order to lose weight that way. So that's why people see the value in doing something like that. So that is effort and sacrifice. That's something that you're going to want to minimize. And in order to really sell to the jury, if you're trying to sell, like, for example, an online course or a coaching program, like, what you have to do is show that students are getting results through very little effort. Like, student A only had to practice his trumpet for 30 minutes a day, and he got the result in a very short amount of time. You don't have to practice 3 to 4 to 5 hours a day, just 30 minutes a day. That's all we ask. That's enough for you to get results, as long as you're doing things properly. That diminishes effort and sacrifice and increases value if you can really prove to the jury that your clients don't have to work so hard, they don't have to give up their lifestyle, they don't have to have blood, sweat, and tears to get the results. It's easy, low effort. That creates value. And then the other thing on the bottom is what we call time delay. So time delay pretty much boils down to how quickly are they going to actually get the result. If it takes them a long time to get the result, value is decreased. If they can get the result instantly, value is increased. For example, with the same example of liposuction, like, you could either go to the gym for several months and lose the weight that way. It might take you 4 or 5, 6 months to get to the weight you desire, or go to the doctor, fall asleep, wake up, and the weight is gone. Less than 24 hours. It might take an hour. I don't know how long liposuction takes, but maybe like an hour or two. So which sounds more valuable? Taking only 1 to 2 hours to lose the weight, or taking 6 months from going to the gym? So again, that's why people pay top dollar for liposuction. Very low effort and very low time delay. And that increases value, and that's why people are willing to invest so much into that kind of a procedure. So this is how we add massive value to our offers. So again, to summarize, that is, get the result as good as possible, make it so that the probability of them actually getting that result is extremely high, demonstrate to the jury that it's not going to take a lot of effort, you don't have to sacrifice your lifestyle, it's not this big deal, and that you can get the result fast. Because once it's demonstrated that you can get the result fast, it's not a lot of effort, the result is really good, value increases. And with time delay too, like, a lot of people who are serious about their life, serious about their skills in their career, they want to get the result fast. Because time is the most precious commodity for people who are very successful and people who, value these types of skills. And that's why people pay top dollar in order to save time. For example, people, when they go to Disneyland or Six Flags or something like that, people are willing to pay top dollar to cut the line. Like, you can get the fast pass, the flash pass, whatever they call it, depending on where you are. And you can literally cut the line, saving you hours of time, and just go on the ride instantly. People pay for first class or for preferred seating on a plane to get on the plane faster. Or people take it a step further and fly private. Rather than having to get to the airport an hour early to check your bags and get your boarding pass and go through security and then you have to wait in front of the gate for an hour, and then the flight gets delayed, you got to wait another hour. Just fly private, drive your car straight to the runway, get on the plane and leave. Time delay is down. And that's why people are willing to spend stupid amounts of money to fly private, is because it saves them so many hours of their time. And if you're like a very high income, very high net worth individual, like 1 hour of your time is a hell of a lot of money that you're saving. So that's why people are willing to fly private, is because it gets rid of that time delay. How can we really demonstrate to the jury all of these things all at once about our offers? So my favorite way of selling someone on my offers, whether that's my Trumpet coaching program or my B2B offerings, is through a webinar. So I'll make separate videos about webinars and exactly how they work on webinar training and everything, and I can redirect you to those videos if you haven't seen them already. But if you're already familiar with webinars, like the perfect webinar framework that Russell Brunson teaches, you'll know that there's 3 secrets. We have secret number 1, number 2, and number 3. So the 3 secrets are designed to handle objections. Like secret number 1 sells the jury on your path from your big domino statement that your way is the way. And secret number 2 and 3 are handling internal and external objections about the path. So how I see it is that in each of these 3 secrets, we're selling them on a different part of the value equation. So for example, dream outcome and perceived likelihood of achievement is covered by secret number 1. Secret number 1 sells them on the result that your method provides. For example, with my Trumpet program, I'm selling them on the ability to play with a beautiful professional quality sound, play with less effort, have good range and endurance while not having so much effort in their playing. That's the dream outcome. I overwhelm them with proof that they're going to get the dream result, because I share stories of just hundreds of students who've tried it out and have gotten results from it. I also share like extreme cases, like this person was 94 years old and he got the result. This person had dental issues and he got the result. This person never played trumpet in his life and he still got the result. This person took a 60-year break from the trumpet and still got results. This guy was playing on a plastic trumpet and he still got the result. So I'm sharing them all these unique case studies, all of these extreme circumstances, to show that other people had way worse problems than you and they were able to do it. And that boosts perceived likelihood of achievement. Secret number 1 is where we address those objections and boost dream outcome and perceived likelihood of achievement as high as possible. Secret number 2 is typically where we address effort and sacrifice. And I'll actually maybe even leave a link to my webinar so that you can watch the webinars and you can see exactly how I do this. But secret number 2 is where we address effort and sacrifice. This is where we show stories of students who were able to put in bare minimum effort, maybe like half hour a day or something bare minimum like that, and they were still able to get the result. So I know in my trumpet webinar, I talk about embouchures and like how in order to get the result, we have to make sure that the embouchure is perfect. And there's limiting beliefs in the trumpet world that like changing your embouchure is a huge sacrifice. It's a huge risk. You have to be a beginner again for a couple months. You got to go into hibernation. You have to cancel all your gigs. There's a lot of sacrifice to changing an embouchure. And I pretty much address in secret number 2 that that's all baloney. You don't need to sacrifice anything. You don't need to cancel all your gigs. You don't need to become a beginner again. All you're doing is you're learning a new embouchure. And you can use your old embouchure for all your gigs and everything until the new embouchure is ready. That is pretty much what I address in secret number 2. So what I'm doing is diminishing effort and sacrifice and increasing value. And then secret number 3 is where time delay is addressed. For my secret number 3 in trumpet mastery, I'm mostly talking about like how just fix your tone, like focus on one thing, fix your tone on your trumpet, and at the same exact time, your range is going to increase. Your articulations are going to sound better. Your endurance is going to increase. Flexibility on the instrument is going to increase, all by just fixing your sound. So even if you have very little time during the day to practice, you can still get massive results. Just focus on one thing, and all the other fundamentals of trumpet playing are going to improve simultaneously. And I'm directly addressing the time objection. That all you got is 30 minutes a day, just focus on this one thing, and you're gonna kill several birds with one stone. And that's exactly what my secret number 3 is all about. So I don't know if Russell knew this or Hormozi did this when he created the value equation, but secrets 1, 2, and 3 of the perfect webinar framework line up perfectly with the value equation. So just remember when you're making your next webinar, or maybe you already have a webinar and you're refining it, making improvements, in secret number 1, make sure you address the dream outcome, the result, how likely it is they're actually going to achieve the result. Make sure in secret number 2, you address effort and sacrifice and how your method decreases effort, decreases sacrifice, and is not that big of a commitment for them to get the result. And secret number 3, make sure you address the time objection and that this is saving them time. You only need to spend 30 minutes a day, for example, and that you can get the result quickly and it's not a lot of work. These two kind of tie together a little bit. But that is how we create value. So again, value is not how many video lessons they get. Value is not how many hours of one-on-one they get to spend with you. Value is not how many downloadable cheat sheets they get. Value is not that all the video course was recorded on a professional microphone and camera. That's not where value comes from. Value comes from the result, how likely they're going to get the result, and it's not going to take a lot of effort or time sacrifice to get the result as well. So again, think of the plane analogy. Selling them on how many videos they get is like selling them on how many seats a plane has. I don't buy a plane ticket because the number of seats the plane has. I buy a plane ticket because I want to get to Hawaii or Bali or somewhere cool like that. So that is how we add massive value to an offer, and that is how, through a perfect webinar framework, is how we can communicate that massive value. So if you need help with creating your webinar, if you need help adding value to your program, highly encourage you to book a call with me. You'll talk with either me or someone on my team, and we will lay out this strategy and see if it will work for you with your own offering. If not, that's cool too. At least make sure you hit like and subscribe. And if you like this video, I highly encourage you to check out my next video on high ticket versus low ticket and which one you should do. I'll leave a end screen video right here for you to check out, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care now.